A very good evening to everybody. Okay, a very good evening to everybody. So what? Wow, there are already 28 people waiting. I'm so sorry that we kept you waiting. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you all don't mind, just let me know you all can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear, say hello to Mr. Lu, that kind of thing. Okay. Jian-Ming, good to see you. Thunder, good to see you. Hey, Jian-Ming, I haven't seen you for 50 years, man. Where have you been? Okay. Oh yeah, Chinese New Year. Tiam, good to see you. Ice Cool, good to see you. Zulu, Element Master, Gary, good to see you. Okay. Thank you, Jian-Ming. Sound good, video good. Okay. Peace, good to see you. Josh, good to see you. Chloe, good to see you. Zihao, good to see you. And John, good to see you. And Alex, good to see you. Okay, everybody, now the time is a little bit earlier than I told everybody, but I will need every one of you, because we got 3 very special guests that are coming to our channel. I use our channel. Please, everybody hit thumbs up to welcome them. 3 of them are waiting in the staging room. So every 100 thumbs up, I will let one of them in. Okay? And I'll do a quick introduction. Thank you. Oh, Chingwi, you're in Japan and still watching this. This is a very exciting live stream that I got 3 experts. Okay, this is the first time I got 3 experts to our channel, and it's actually quite an exciting show. So everybody, please come in right now, okay, and give a powerful thumbs up. There are 200 over of you here. I need everybody to hear a thumbs up. Every 100, I'll bring one person in. Okay, every 100, I'll bring one person in. So please don't make us xia sui. So they are all very nice to come in. So I won't call it presidential debate lah. Okay, but they're all very nice people. So everybody, please give a thumbs up. 250 of you here, and you know I've got only 63 thumbs up. How can that be, man, guys? Quickly, give thumbs up. Okay, I got Kelvin, Boon Tee, and a very handsome man called Eric. Actually, there's a cute boy also, but I think he's afraid that all the aunties will go after him. So I think he's too scared to come. So there's a very cute guy called Chi King. Yeah, okay, he wasn't free, but we have got 3 experts, of which 2 or the other 2 are the people who yes, it's a presidential debate. Yeah. No, the third guy is called Eric. It's not Master Leong. Okay. Yeah. So I've got 75 thumbs up. Guys, hurry up, give thumbs up. Okay. If not, I cannot even bring one of you. Every 100 thumbs up, I will bring one in. Okay. Every 100 thumbs up, I'm about to hit 100 thumbs up ready, and then I can bring Kelvin in first. Okay. So everybody, quickly, come on, guys. TBK spike in JB is still in JB. Here, nobody care about TB. Yeah. Everybody only care about fireworks. Yeah. So, okay, guys, I think a bit slow on the thumbs up. Okay. If I intend to start this ASAP, so please support this thing. Okay. Okay. I got the first thumbs up. So I'm going to first bring in Kelvin. Okay. And here we have Kelvin. Everybody, please give him a round of applause and say hello, Kelvin. Okay. So let me give a very brief introduction and let Kelvin introduce himself while we wait for all of you to give thumbs up, because the other 2 is waiting for you to release them from the staging room. So Kelvin has been running a powerful YouTube financial channel called Kelvin Learn Investing. We have actually known each other for quite some time already. You know, he used to bring me a lot into his channel, and we in fact caught up before, especially 2022, that Paragon lunch. I still remember. Okay, and Kelvin is a brilliant financial influencer himself. So let me just give Kelvin some airtime before you all continue to hit thumbs up to let Bunty come in. Okay. Kelvin, over to you.
Mr. Lu. Yeah, this Mr. Lu angkat bola too much. I'm nowhere near the expert there is. Just that because I started slightly earlier than him, that I got more subs than him. But I believe that he will catch up. I think within this year, he will overtake me already. He's the more real expert.
Yeah, and yeah, Kelvin is so see hi H2 Ocean say you are the biggest financial YouTuber in Singapore and JB. Okay, why JB? I thought it's the whole of Malaysia. Okay, I saw Kelvin in Tampines. Okay, is it true? I don't know. Okay. All right, guys, you are locking up Bunty. Why can't I say Sunti today? Bunty and Eric in the staging room. Can you please give thumbs up so that I can release Bunty and Eric from the staging room? Okay. Kelvin, mic a bit soft. Is it true? Kelvin, can you do a mic test again?
Mic test. Is it better now?
Oh, much better. Okay. Can you guys hear him right now? Can you guys hear him right now? Okay.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, you are perfect to me. Okay. We'll wait for the rest of people. All right, guys. If you all don't give thumbs up, poor Bunty and Eric will be locked up in the staging room forever. So can you all please give thumbs up? I need another 60 more thumbs up, and we can release Bunty. Okay. Incidentally, Kelvin, you are a Malaysian, right?
Yeah.
Or you were a Malaysian?
I was. Then
Have you converted to Singaporean?
Yes, I converted.
Oh, wonderful. Which part of Malaysia were you formerly from?
I was from Ipoh. You know the Ipoh Gay Fan, Ipoh Ngacho,
Ipoh
Fan. Then when I tried the Ipoh food in Singapore, cannot find
the fake one, the Singapore Ipoh food. None of them even taste anywhere close to the four corner coffee shop that I've been to. Yeah. So I think it's it is Singapore's blessing to have you join us, and we are very happy to have you join us in our country. And is your wife also formerly from Malaysia?
Yeah, we were from the same hometown, but funny story, we actually met here in Singapore. It's only later on that we found out, actually we live close to each other. Our hometowns were near to each other.
Oh, you all were meant to be. Yeah, you're meant to be, right? That's funny, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And we all, someone said the Ipoh Tauge. Yeah, Ipoh Tauge is the best in the world. There is no tauge like Ipoh Tauge. Okay. And why is it Ipoh Tauge looks so fat and short?
Because there was this whole rumor that the water from Ipoh, it flows through the cemetery, and it goes to the tauge. That's why the tauge is so fat.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I shall not eat any more Ipoh Tauge. All right, guys. Okay, we have another 20 more. We're all waiting. I can see Bunty falling asleep already. Can you please let him in? If not, you're going to let him in by clicking on the thumbs up. 400 of you all there. Can you please let me in, please? Okay. If not, he won't be able to come in. Okay, I'm waiting for another 20 more thumbs up, guys. 20 more thumbs up. Please help him come in. Okay. So Kelvin, just understand, you're full time into YouTubing, or you have other profession on the side?
Actually, I went full time like 2 years. Or was it 3 years ago? Yeah, because the income was enough to cover lah. And at the same time, I lost my job. So just nice this income cover, then I just move over lah. Same like you, right, Mr. Lu. You are doing this full time. In fact, you post much more videos than me.
But post more video doesn't mean anything, right? Your video, I suppose, have so much quality. I can see it. I just turn on the video and just talk, and then I off it. That's all. So mine got no substance like yours, right? Okay.
Yeah,
we can release Bunty in right now. Okay, let's welcome Bunty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bunty. Please continue to give a thumbs up. If not, Eric cannot come in. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Bunty into our channel. Everybody, please say hello to Bunty.
Hi everyone. Excited to be here.
Your mic is really good, leh. I must buy your mic. Okay, your mic is better than me and Kelvin. Okay, and okay, so Bunty is actually a very nice man. He taught me a few things along the way, and before when he when he published the video, attacking, having a difference in my crash buying opinion, he was very nice. He actually wrote to me and, he was very concerned. I said, good, let's have different in opinion and things like that. So he's a very sweet, nice man. Boon Tee, are married with kids, right?
Yeah.
Alamak lah. Okay, if not, I recommend my brother for you. Okay, he's a really nice guy. Okay, so maybe I'll let Boon Tee. Yeah, Boon Tee got what $1 million house, $10 million house. Yeah, that's his $10 million house. Okay, so maybe Boon Tee, I'll let you introduce yourself. Or we please the rest of you continue to click thumbs up so that Eric can come in.
So how many more for Eric to come in?
80 more.
80 more. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, thumbs up. Then we can start. Okay. So just a quick introduction. So my name is Bunty. So I work in finance. So I think I'm the only non-full-time YouTuber here, right? Mr. Lu also full-time YouTuber. Kelvin also full-time YouTuber. So I actually have a full-time job.
I full-time? I didn't know that.
Yes. You full-time. Okay. Kelvin's full-time is like he don't have other job, but your full-time is like you every day also live. Right? So for sure you're full-time.
Oh, that's called full-time. Okay, thank you. Okay, I consider honor. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a bit of background. So I'm actuarial trained. So I specialize in asset liability management, doing asset allocation. So although I'm not full-time YouTuber, but I do have a full-time job that's involved in finance, investment industry. Then I also run
the real financial analyst lah. It's truly certified.
in the industry, yeah. So I run a YouTube channel under my own name. So I share my thoughts on market, on portfolio management, all these things, and sometimes responding to, video from other people's like Mr. Lu. I think it's quite nice to have this kind of a back and forth discussion. I think it helps with people to understand all this topic in more details. Then Mr. Lu kindly labeled me as paper warrior. So I think I will embrace the title tonight. Yay! Two paper warriors here.
Okay, maybe the rest of guys, I still got one poor Eric kena lock up. Can you all please hit thumbs up so that we can release him from the YouTube from the YouTube staging room. So meanwhile, maybe I ask Boon Tee a quick question. You are saying that you are in the finance industry. Are you with a hedge fund or a financial institution or and working as an analyst of some form?
Insurance company within a banking group.
I see. Okay. And you are doing the actual part of the business or department?
I lead the asset liability management team now. So basically, the team actually sits under both finance and also under investment. So it's like the bridge between, on one side is the investment side, the other side is the finance, and also which include actuarial teams. So I work very closely with all these people. Like I have two bosses. One is the CEO, one is the CFO.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, guys, we only left with 30 over more thumbs up. Pretty quickly, 600 of y'all. Please, everybody, please help to welcome Eric. Let him come in, okay? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Boon Tee has a very. That's why when you work for big finance organization, you can have a big house like that. This house is at least worth $8 to $10 million. Okay, and it's sitting at 6th Avenue. That's why, remember, tu su tu hao lai, like Boon Tee like that. Boon Tee, just a quick one. You were also ex-Malaysian or you're currently a PR?
Ex-Malaysian. So right now, Singaporean. Converted, same as Kelvin.
And were you also formerly from Ipoh?
No, not from Ipoh. I'm from Kuantan.
Kuantan. Okay, that's wonderful. That's where all the beautiful beaches and the resort are. Okay. And how many years have you been in Singapore?
Since 2013. So how many years? 13 years already.
13 years. Wonderful. Okay. So very happy and very honored to have you. All right, guys, you only left. I know I cannot tahan already. Okay. Guys, we have got Eric here right now. Okay. Eric, just now your camera looks fantastic. I don't know why your camera doesn't look so fantastic now.
Oh, because I applied some visual for the background.
I see. Okay. He uses the most expensive camera among all of us. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. Bari Siu Sing, good evening to you. Please welcome Eric as well. Okay. Now, Eric is the person I know the least. Okay, because he doesn't talk to me that much. Okay. So Kelvin and Boon Tee talk to me quite a lot, including Chikeng as well. But so Eric, if you don't mind, do a self-introduction.
I run a tuition center called Mr. Chemistry. So I think I first got to know Bunty when did I get to know him? I think he was
Long time ago.
about Tesla, coming to interview me about Tesla, because back then I had a small YouTube channel. I have since stopped it because it was just like a hobby for me. I wanted to like put out content out there to share about Tesla and all that. Yeah, so not really seeing it as a full time. That's why sometimes we have backholder plot. Sometimes I also cannot make it because I have work. Yeah, so these guys they have to hold the fort.
Wonderful. So, well, thanks everybody from coming, and thanks all our 1165 community audience coming in as well. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Okay, and let me just say that this whole discussion or debate really started in the respective YouTube channels between Kelvin, Boon Tee, and myself. And it got quite excited and fiery. So Kelvin actually suggested we all come together, which is great. Now, you may not know about Kelvin, Boon Tee, Eric, and a gentleman, a cute gentleman called Chikeng actually has a YouTube channel called Backholder Pod. And Kelvin has a channel himself called Kelvin Learn Investing. Boon Tee, your channel is called Boon Tee, is it?
Yes, just under my name.
Yeah, just called Boon Tee, right? And I'm sorry, Eric. I think I don't even know your YouTube channel name now. Is it still active?
Oh no, I put it to private already.
Wonderful. Okay, so I always hear their backholder pod discussion is quite lively and exciting. And they've invited me one or two times there before. I feel very honored. So now we're going to start off to have the discussion and debate on the concept of crash buying versus non-crash buying. And I will just give a backdrop. Now, crash buying is something not new to me. I've been talking about it since 2016. And those days, I didn't call it crash buying. Maybe I didn't label it well, so there wasn't such a controversy. But over the years, I've talked much more about it, and I guess in the recent months, because of maybe possibility of crashes coming, or maybe because I give it a more proper marketing label called crash buying, it attracts a lot more attention. I think the last straw was when I put up a Excel's crash buying simulator. That's where it got experts like Kelvin and Boon Tee. I think Eric, I don't know if you have seen that, but definitely Kelvin and Boon Tee suddenly turn on their smart financial attention into it, and that's where they come out a big discussion about hey, actually Mr. Lu, your crash buying not so good let me talk about it. So Boon Tee was more towards in his video was more leaning towards lump sum investing. Kelvin was more leaning towards dollar cost averaging. I'm sure there's some overlap here and there as well. And of course, I think yesterday after Chinese New Year, I got lots of food. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd do a YouTube on it and things like that. So so I thought it would be good today. We have an open discussion on it. Okay, I'll be happy to let you fire off, and then I can respond. Okay. And then we can counter respond as well. This is a gentleman's debate and discussion. No screaming, no shouting, no names calling. And guys, stop thinking that I'm being outnumbered whatsoever. Okay? Yeah. So very funny the way they say like need to have more people come in. Okay. So but but all these are friends. Okay, let's start off, shall we? Kelvin or Bunty, over to you. Or Eric, over to you.
Over to me. I thought tonight I'm like moderator.
Oh, we're happy to have you play the role as well. Then Kelvin and Bunty, who want to start first?
I think maybe Bunty should start first.
Okay, I start first because if you all follow the chronology also, it started with Mr. Lu video, then my video, then only Kelvin's video came out, right? So first thing I have to give credit to Mr. Lu first, okay? Because people talk about all this crash buying many times. It's like, well, market down, we all buy the dip. But usually for most other creators out there, right, they will tend to just say that, oh, I will buy when crash, but they didn't define what is crash. Like, is it like 10% is crash, or do you need to wait for 40%, 50%? Where's the threshold, right? So I think, but Mr. Lu came up with this, table that say, okay, drop 10%, fire 10%. I think that table is very helpful because with that table, right, then we can use that formula to do all these simulations. Then we are on the same page, right? It's not like, okay, you define it yourself, I define something myself, and then we can't talk to each other, right? So now we have at least a consistent set of strategy for us to discuss about it. So that one, I think it need to give credit to Mr. Lu. So what I did in my video, right, is just to say that, okay, Mr. Lu, you gave 3 dates, right? And then you say that, okay, for these 3 dates, your result is very good. And I can see that it is very clear because we can all run all this simulation and cross-check, right? So I think that's all good. The problem is that, can it work on all points, right? On all, like, every starting points? Because let's say if we say we are handed with $10,000 to invest, right? I don't know when I'm handed that $10,000, right? It could be 2018, it could be 2022, it could be any years, right? So what I did is I pull out all this data and then I just say that, okay, I start randomly at any time point, right? And then I just look at the result. Is lump sum better, or is it crash buying better? And then after I look at the result across all these different starting points, right, I realized that actually, I think about 2/3 of the time, right, lump sum actually better than crash buying. That's why, I mean, just looking at it purely from quantitative perspective, I can conclude that, okay, it all, whether you get good results or not, really depends on your start date. And if you want to talk about probability or statistics, right, then lump sum is better than crash buying. But it's not like 100% better. It's only like, one is like 2/3 of the time lump sum better, 1/3 of the time actually Mr. Lu crash buying strategy is better. So I think that's the results. Basically, that's what I conclude. So I'll pass to Kelvin for your commentary.
So I interrupt for a little while. Bunty, don't mind while Kelvin is talking. Help me notify the Telegram group because I forgot to do so. Yeah, just notify
which Telegram?
The 165 Telegram group that the debate is on. I usually tell them, but I too engrossed in this. Okay, so over to you, Kelvin. Thanks, Bunty, for a wonderful point you put forward. And Kelvin, over to you.
Yeah, so actually, after Mr. Lu put out the video, right, me and Bunty and Chiking, basically we have our own private group. We were discussing, this Mr. Lu crash buy, legit or not? So we like, okay,
what the hell are you talking about?
There's no kind of sign. Yeah, basically we were doing our own research. So Bunty put out his first because his one much easier to do. I have to white code the whole thing out. But basically my conclusion was almost the same as Bunty, but I added in a few data points. So Mr. Lu used the S&P 500. I also put in the World Index, the STI, even the triple Q. And I realized that in all cases, because the market goes up like 70% of the time, in that case, lump sum and DCA does better than crash buying like 70% of the time. So it matches. But I'm quite sure like if the S&P 500 crashes today, Mr. Lu will be right once again. Then he will like make another video. See? Then would they have to take down our videos already?
No.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, I think there's some questions. When do you do the lump sum?
Before maybe if you Eric, if you allow me, I'll just respond to the group. First of all, we today have a big turnout. Thanks for 1,000 people who are here right now. Okay, I really appreciate you guys coming in. We have got wonderful guests that come in. Eric today will serve the role as a moderator, and Kelvin and Boon Tee are familiar names in YouTube scene, and they are the one that start the fight first. and now I'm forced to respond. But we are very happy to have them, welcome them, and I'm sure you guys should continue to follow them in a great perspective as well. So maybe I'll give, if you allow me, guys, I'll just give a quick backdrop because we hear bits and pieces here and there. So maybe I'll just say that number one is that the crash buying experience that I've developed actually done quite long. I started in 2007 to 2008. I crashed buy the first time. Then in 2011 and 12, I crashed buy the second time. And that was during the Europe debt crisis. 2010 was the China stock market crash. I didn't buy China market, but the whole market also went down with it. I bought it another time. Then 2018 was the first Trump war. Trade war with China. I bought it during then as well. 2020, COVID crash, I bought it again. 2022, during the great inflation, I bought it again. And then 2025 was the one I missed out. Okay, but the one while I missed out, thank God, Ben bought the crash where I didn't. He managed a bit of quite a bit of a sizable part of the family fund. But I'm trying to say that this experience, that's not quite a strategy. This experience that I developed. And I finesse it further, taught me one thing that's quite important to differentiate, okay? That the debate, while we are optimizing at the returns level, we need to also take a look at the drawdown level, the risk level, okay? Now, for young people like you and like Kelvin and Boon Tee, I think to some extent, Eric, you also look very young, okay? You're not uncle level like me yet, okay? I getting my CPF next year already, so I suppose I qualify to say I'm uncle level. I think for younger people is when I was young once, so I suppose we generally optimize for higher returns and believe that every drop whatsoever and fluctuation it ultimately will recover. But then that is true. That is true. But for older folks, when they're 50s, 60s, 70s, it's very difficult for us to take drawdowns. Okay, I think that's the big distinction. Okay, and because you are very difficult to take drawdowns, so I tend to play it safer. So it's really not a strategy that produces the best results in returns, but it is one of the strategies that gives good results but has lesser drawdown. So the other one thing I want to say is that when you buy on crashes, you usually see profits in your account, usually. And even when the subsequent drawdowns will happen, okay, you still see your account in green. So it's a lot easier. I don't know whether you've done that before. I suppose most of the people, when you see your account in red, is very unbearable. So I had that experience in 1997. I don't even know whether all of you have been born in 1997. 1997, the great Asia financial crisis, I was wiped out terribly. Everybody behaved in a terrible way. In clock crisis, a lot of people got wiped out as well. So basically, it is very difficult to handle emotionally. So crash buying really is about financial, emotional management. Okay, so we optimize for good returns at a drawdown that we can stomach. Okay, and therefore, this is the philosophy that I want to highlight. There's a fundamental, one of the fundamental difference between your approach, which optimize for highest return, where mine is not optimized for highest return, optimized for good return at a more manageable drawdown level. Okay, so I think that's a distinction I would like to make. Okay, so over to you guys. Or Eric, you want to say something?
Maybe let me comment because I have a questions to ask. Because I do appreciate, right, Mr. Lu, you mentioned that in terms of your audience, right, it's quite a number of them are actually 40, 50, 60, even 70 years old, right? People who are more senior, and then and I bet some of them don't have much experience in the market, but they do want to participate in the market, right? That's why you try to lead them into the market and try to get in at better timings. So I can see your point there, and I definitely agree that all, like when it comes to investing, emotional management is very important. Okay, that one I agree. But and when it comes to the audience, right? Let's say if I compare like Kelvin's audience and my audience, definitely we are more tailored for the younger crowds. Maybe someone who is like, 20s, 30s or 40s, right? So I can see that in our, audience stats. But let's say someone, right, who is like, let's say 60 years old, 50 years old, 60 years, and just say, okay, I want to get into the market. I don't know how to do. Should I do all this crash buying? And the point that you mentioned about how to manage risk, right? For me, right, how I will approach that is very simple. If you are 60 years old and you never experienced drawdown, you never even invested in stock market, then what you should do is just to have a proper allocations. What I mean is that proper allocations, right, is that you don't know where's your risk appetite. Let's say your risk appetite could be just at 10%. Let's say you have $1 million. You say, I'm okay to put in 50K, 100K into the stock market. The remaining, you just put in fixed income, high yield saving. To me, that allocations, right, is something that fit the risk appetite, right? The person can just, move on with that 90-10 kind of allocations, which is very, very safe. In fact, let's say out of that 100K crash by 80%, you are still fine. You still have your 900K in something that's safe, right? That's how I will approach the investment, rather than say that, you have 1 million, you start from zero, you wait for market crash, 30%, you all in 1 million into the portfolio. I think you shouldn't do that, because if you don't have experience, tolerate the volatility, right, then you shouldn't do this kind of thing. To me, it's dangerous, because the moment you put in 600K and then it crash another 10%, right, you freak out already. So I think that's my counter to your argument here. Yeah.
By the way, Chris from Honey Money is here. Let's all say hi to him. Okay, Chris, very good evening to you too.
Can ask Chris also to join. Come.
Yeah, maybe Chris should join, but you get okay. Anyway, another day we share more of this. Okay. Now, I think it's important for the whole strategy to be very clear. Okay. I think it's important that remember, I'm actually called Mr. CPF for a reason. Okay, because my thesis is always the CPF first. So it's always important to form a financial safety net first. And if you have not, my argument is that if you not form a financial safety net and a powerful dry powder, you should not even touch the stock market. Okay, that's a very powerful step number one first. And that is something that I do, and that's something that I can see most of the people who successfully executed crash buy in 2022 with me, they actually did that as well. So I think that's a very important first step that you must take. And it's probably a misconception to think that most of my viewers are investment novice. That usually happen to the younger crowd. Most of my investment audiences are not new to investment, okay, but they are definitely not new to investment, but they may not have the best investment outcomes, okay, that I think is important. And my suggestion for those people who cannot handle investment has always been, don't touch investment. Just count on CPF Life itself is more than enough. There are a lot of people, and this is not myself who came up with this concept, it was Christopher Tan from Provident that came up with this concept. It took some time for me to understand. I completely agree with him. There are a lot of people who should not even touch investment. There's some people that the market have volatility or whatsoever. They cannot sleep for 3 days, 3 nights, and then they just go into depression or whatsoever. Then they should not touch investment. What they should do is just optimize their CPF, and for their retirement, just simply deploy into their SA and then later the RA, and they can get $7,000 all the way to kingdom comes, So that's good enough for a lot of people already, right? So now for the rest of the people, it's always a philosophy that they should have a healthy balance between stable assets and volatile assets. And they should have a spread, right? So let's say if I'm 50 years old, should be around 50-50. Maybe you're 70 years old, you take a 30% portfolio in a volatile asset. and stable assets, you're 70 years old. And that's just financial 101. So again, that manages the risk of it, right? So it's not as simple as that. Now here, I just want to talk about a quick one about lump sum investing, and I talk about it in the Telegram channel. By the way, what is lump sum investing? Yeah, what is lump sum investing? Lump sum investing simply means that you have a lump sum of money and you ham local, right? And when you have the money, you don't look at timing when the money comes. So where did the money come from? It has to come from somewhere, right? So I would imagine usually you come from bonuses, okay? Or some kind of windfall or something, or you have to save money from it for most people, right? But in the process of saving, is really accumulation of a fund, okay? A fund for lump sum investing. If not, lump sum investing is very difficult to execute because most of us don't have windfall and our bonuses are at most 13-month bonus or something like that. Maybe Bunty work in an organization where he works a bank. Bank nowadays, if you work in DBS nowadays, 10-month bonus for everybody. So, but for most of us, we don't have this kind of windfall easily. So when we say lump sum investment, it don't happen frequently. In fact, in our lifetime, I'm not really sure how many times we have lump sum to talk about. And if the answer is you actually save money towards it, then you're actually building up. That is not very far away from crash buying because you also take time to accumulate. But if you do dollar cost averaging, if you take lump sum in the abstract form of just investing when you have some money, investing some money let's say regularly, that's actually dollar cost averaging. So lump sum investing almost don't exist. So maybe Bunty, you would like to clarify?
Yeah, sure, happy to. So to me, right, lump sum, very simple. You have money, and that money you already tell yourself that you want to put into the market. Okay, doesn't matter it is $100, $1,000, $10,000. The amount is not important. The important thing is that now you already have the money. Do you wait for crashes? That's crash buying, or do you take that money, spread out, and then you buy in staggered? That's DCA, right? Lump sum is just say, okay, I'm just going to get all in on that amount. And lump sum, right, it's not like saying that, okay, your 30-year, 50 years investment journey, you only have one lump sum. That's not the definition, right? The lump sum is that whatever money that you have, and you can have many, many lump sums, right? Say, for example, let's say if I work, right, and then I spend, I have a bit of saving. Say, for example, this month I have a saving of $1,000. If I stagger that $1,000, it will be, for example, $100 every month, right? That's one example. And if I have that saving of $1,000, I straight away whack that $1,000, that's to me is lump sum already. Because I really maximize the time in the market, right? I don't wait for crash. I don't wait to spread out. I straight away lump sum that. But I can have multiple lump sum, right? Lump sum now, next month lump sum again, next month lump sum again. So that's basically my definitions are not so much about like saving first, saving to 200,000, 500,000, then only you lump sum. That's not my definitions. Yeah, just want to get that clear.
So Bunty, you realize that you are gravitating towards dollar cost averaging and not lump sum.
That's true. That's true. If your savings, which I believe most of us, right, we are working every month and then we have income. Even entrepreneur like Eric also, you have income every month, right? As you execute that, right, naturally it will become more like a DCA, which I agree.
Okay,
I do think so. Yes.
In short, I'm glad that we at least agree that lump sum don't exist in the purest form.
Yeah. So for example, let's say inheritance, then yes lah. But for most people, it will be like monthly DCA. Correct. It looks like DCA.
So in short, where the concept that you have a windfall of a big, a sizable amount where you harm local regularly, that usually doesn't exist in practice. So what we are literally saying right now is actually dollar cost averaging. So I think that's quite important for us to get that. So the paper concept of lump sum investing in reality don't exist easily. Okay, I think that's a very important thing to clarify.
But if you think about it, right, DCA is just multiple lump sum. and if you get it right on every lump sum, every dollar of DCA, that is the one lump sum. If that's you get it right, then in total you also get it right.
Yeah, but your analysis that of a sizable portion that you whack into the market, and then we wait until the next chunk that you whack the market. generally less frequently than dollar cost averaging. That's called lump sum in its purest form. There's no such thing as the only concept I can think of where that happen once a year or so is when you have bonus of a significant number. So other than that, I cannot think of. So in short, I just want to drive this. Okay, lump sum investing does not exist in real life, but abstractly speaking, is actually gravitating towards dollar cost averaging. I think we got to get that clear first. Okay, then we can move on. Would you agree with that, Bunty?
I don't agree there. Like lump sum,
Okay.
by the virtue of the fact that it's called lump sum, it must be quite a significant amount, right? I would think lump sum maybe like 50,000, 100,000. You call that a lump sum. When you DCA 500, 1,000. The quantum is very different.
So Eric, you agree with me, right?
No,
that-
I don't agree that lump sum is the same as DCA. Like
I agree with you that lump sum is not the same as DCA. That's why Bunty is now gravitating towards it. He's actually lump sum, he's talking about DCA. But I want to say the lump sum is usually a sizable amount. And by the way, he showed that in his analysis as well. But he's now moving towards a DCA concept, which I'm okay with the abstract definition. I don't have issue. But I want to first establish a fact. Let's all agree that lump sum investing don't exist in real life. Easily. I won't say easily. It does happen, not frequent. If you have a lot of 50,000, 100,000 coming in, I'll just say this. In my junior time working, this is not gossip. When I was working in Singtel, when I was as young as, I don't know how young, Bunty looks like he's in the 20s, but I don't think he's 20s. But when in my 20s, I do get 8-month, 10-month bonus. Okay? Those days, Singtel were printing money, in my opinion. Are those days very nice? But those days are over. After a while, Singtel realized that they are in heavy competition. They stopped that. So in abstractly speaking, very few people got the privilege of having a lump sum to invest. That's my main conclusion. Would you all at least agree with me on that?
Agree.
Okay. Eric, will you agree, Matt?
Sorry, what's your point?
No, my point is very few people have the privilege of having lump sum regularly to invest.
Oh, lump sum regularly? No, not lump sum regularly.
Cannot be, right? Yeah. So can we now move on and let's all agree that lump sum, in theory, does not exist in real life. Okay? So if that's the case, then we can move on to the next one. Okay? Yeah. So I think then it become a very good debate on DCA versus crash buying. Okay? Okay, now DCA is of course Kelvin's main proposition. So Kelvin, over to you.
Actually, when I tested both lump sum and DCA, they perform almost about the same. Because when you think about DCA, it's just lump sum breaking down into several periods. For example, like if you receive, let's say $1,000 from your job this month, you're breaking it down to maybe 2-3 months or even up to a year. So you slowly deploy that capital. So that's DCA versus lump sum. They straight away deploy all that $1,000 in. So I don't know. You can say lump sum is just DCA over a single period, whereas DCA is over multiple periods. So I think that's the better definition. But for just now, I wanted to comment on what Mr. Lutz said. When he said that not everyone can do investing, and instead CPF is a good enough alternative. The reason I don't think it's good enough is because the first thing is CPF has the limit. So right now there's a 220K. If you dump a lot of that in, first you lose the liquidity. Second, you limit the returns that you can get. Then and at the end, right, the CPF life, it actually, let's say right now it's I don't know, it's 1,007 every month. But the problem with that is that over 20 years, I went to calculate over 20 to 30 years, right? That amounts due to inflation, like 2% inflation. That 1,006, 1,007 will drop by half. So near your 90s, right when you needed the money the most for all the medical needs, it drops to like $800+. So unless you take the money and go and pump that back in, and also there's the whole policy risk and stuff like that. So I feel like CPF life should be a not the main thing, but should be part of your whole investment strategy. I believe that's what Mr. Lu is doing also. That's what everyone is doing also. But it shouldn't be the main strategy because CPF Life itself is a good enough thing.
So I
Yeah.
just interject on this one because today is not a discussion on CPF Life, but CPF Life to enhance retirement sum, okay, and if you optimize it very well, you can get $5,000 to $7,000 a month. If you don't know how to do it, that's a different answer. But it is a huge amount of money, and it's enough for me. Okay, but let's move on from this because this is not the foundation of our discussion. Let's move on from this. Let's go to DCA because we have already dispelled that lump sum investing don't exist. So now DCA is a big debate because I also agree that DCA is a good strategy. Kelvin, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so DCA is a good alternative to lump sum because it helps with your emotions. I guess crash buying is probably even better emotionally wise, but the returns that you can get from crash buying is lower. Okay, I know that Mr. Lu showed his the 15% annualized return, but I just want to comment that it's because you are just looking at it from the perspective of the portfolio and not the entire AUM itself, which includes the cash. Because if you include the cash, which is like probably, I don't know, for Mr. Lu, maybe it's few $1 million sitting on the side, you pull the whole return downwards if you're looking at the AUM size instead of just the portfolio.
Mike, you go on.
Yeah. So then the other issue with crash buying is that you are timing that 30% of the time where the market goes down. And I know that the whole argument about crashes come every few years kind of thing, but this is just the average, right? So if you look at certain very extreme periods, there's one very extreme period where from 1990 to 1997, there was no crash at all for over the entire period. So every time you try to drop, then it just came back up. It just kept going back up and up. So that's the danger of crash buying. You just miss the whole upside of the thing. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I just first of all, thanks, Kelvin. And I would like to first highlight that when we look at a person's portfolio, I suppose we shouldn't just look at cash and stocks, right? You must look at the entire spread of assets that we have. That's our entire spread of investment. In my case, it gets a lot more complicated when I have to involve everything. Okay, so it's very difficult to calculate okay. So I've got 5 companies that I run, plus 4 businesses that I invest in and things like that. And then plus CPF, plus cash, plus 2 cats, that kind of thing. I consider quite investment as well. But it is very difficult to calculate, the return rates. And so I like to see everything as I like to see things at a level where I can see it. And I didn't include the cash component, not because they are not doing well. On the contrary, it actually do quite well, but it's very personal. Okay, it's very personal, and I don't want to share that amount. Okay, in my cash portion has a huge amount of NASDAQ, which I think I wrote to Bunty about it on the site. So if I show my NASDAQ portfolio, you can just imagine how big the NASDAQ portfolio is in terms of return. But that's not the point, right? The point here we're now discussing about DCA versus crash buying. Kelvin, you have another point. I can't remember. Uncle me, I cannot remember. What's your second point? I'll just address this before I talk about DCA.
Or is the fact that crash buying is only effective 30% of the time.
Yes. That's
so when there's no crash,
point.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. In times in history, there were episodes where the market just simply didn't crash. Then then you have to count on little investments on the side, like your T-bills, your CPF Life, not CPF Life, sorry, CPF OA or whatever, can give you 2.5%, all this kind of thing, money market fund at 2%, all this kind of thing. I agree totally with you. But let's just take a look at the recent 20 years or so. 2007 onwards. Okay, I used 2007, but before that, I was too poor and rebounding from Asia financial crisis. 2007, 2008, the great financial crisis, that was the first crash that I came across. And that lasted until quite long, by the way. So if there's a crash, that lasted quite long. And the next crash was 2012. That was the Europe debt crisis. In between them, there's about 3 years or so, okay? After 2012 was the great China crash at 2015. Okay, so 2012 about 3 years. Okay, and after 2015 was 2018, Donald Trump launched the first trade war. After Donald Trump launched the first trade war, there was a COVID crash at 2020. That's another 2-3 years. After Donald Trump gone away, the COVID crash, there was the great inflation and the great interest rate cost crash. That was 2022, and it lasted until 2023. So that was easily another 2-3 years max. And then after the 2023, it goes all the way to 2025. That's another 2 years as well, where the Trump crash. So if you realize in the recent 20 years or so, crashes comes every 2 to 3 years. Now, will this continue? Of course, history is not a perfect judge of it, but the statistics lean towards this. Okay. Now it's become you say, I say by looking at different type of history. Okay. And I say you're absolutely correct. There are parts of history where there was a big gap. Okay. And you'll be absolutely right. And there are parts of history, at least in the last 20 years, where the market keep crashing and rebounding, crashing, rebounding, keep rebounding. So at least the last 20 years, it favors a crash buying phenomena where I crash buy, I use up all my powder, I took time to recover, and next crash come, I buy again and recover, buy again and recover. Now, I think it's just nice that it coincided with a very frequent market crash over the last 20 years. And will this phenomena go on? We have to see whether the world is a more safer place, a more volatile place whatsoever. If I were to take a bet, I'll bet that the world will become continuously more volatile, at least in the next 5 to 10 years. But that's a personal opinion, and you could be right.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe I step in a little bit. Just now, Kelvin was talking about the cash drag, right? I think it's a very real issue that a lot of people have. I'm not really sure what Mr. Lu you meant when you say that your cash is in NASDAQ, because NASDAQ is if the market is like going down, NASDAQ is, then
that's not what I said. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you say?
Oh no, I said that we're all talking about, because I only show my CPF and SRS portfolio. I didn't show my cash portfolio, not my cash. I didn't show my cash portfolio. And I didn't do that. Right? Yeah, but most of them show their cash portfolio. I think Bunty showed their cash portfolio, and it was a wonderful portfolio. I think there's some comments on that. So I just want to address that. I only look at this because I think it's aligned with my coaching on the CPF part of things. Yeah, but I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main issue for most people is the cash drag, especially with a strategy like crash buying. Because a lot of time, even if you drop 30% in the market, and then you just buy in using 30% of your cash, that 70% still forms a very big form of cash drag, which will drag down your CAGR by quite a lot. So even if you just show the percentage, right, it's going to drag you down from 15% down to 6%, which makes it might as well invest in the index. Yeah. So that's the point I think Kelvin was making.
Okay, I think that's a good one. Maybe I clarify on this part. So I think most of my portfolio are in index funds. Huge part of it I never sell. So I just deploy. Thank you. I just deploy excess cash I accumulate over 1 to 3 years. Okay. And then I fire into it, I accumulate and fire into it, accumulate, I fire into it, accumulate, I fire into it. But part of my wealth, in that sense, are all invested. Okay, and the spare cash on the side. So in that sense, the cash drag is less an issue. By the way, I can't remember, was it Bunty or Kelvin that calculated that the S&P 500 versus the other strategy was about 2% return. I think it was one of you guys or both of you guys.
I calculated. Yeah.
Was about 2% return. And most of the case, when we have cash, we put into something that gives us 1 to 2% return while waiting. Okay, so it isn't that this money is sitting in the savings account. And by the way, nowadays you don't put money in savings account for the biggest reason, not because of return, because you can get scammed. Okay, you can get scammed. So you want to put it in a safe place. So in my case, I try to put in OA, I try to money market fund, I put in whatever things, T-bills, whatever, I've some put in US bonds, whatever. It's mainly to siam away from scammers. And by the way, they do make a bit of return, which will equalize our approach. Yeah, so just to share with you, just to clarify you.
Just to address your point on putting it in savings account or high interest account, that 1% or 1 to 2% is basically eroded by inflation also. So I think we can net off the two and it's practically equal to nothing. If you put it in just a high interest savings account yield, we probably shouldn't take that into account.
Yeah, but you make it back through the crash buying. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Where I think Kelvin calculated, I think Boon Tee also calculated something similar. I can't remember the details. Uncle got a bit of 老人痴呆症 here, please forgive me. But I think what we're saying is that, through crash buying or something like that, we yield about 15%. And Kelvin was saying through dollars, I can't remember what was it. Well, whatever the 2% return is, we make it back through it. But the point I'm driving, if you go back to the earlier point, is we are not aiming for the highest return, guys. We're aiming for a good return at a lesser drawdown. I think that's the key thing. You are aiming for high returns. Have you ever checked your drawdowns? Drawdowns are a very terrifying thing. And the minute we disrespect drawdown, there are very few people that can stomach drawdown as you grow older and older. Okay, imagine that now you are in your 50s and 60s, and suddenly the amount that you freshly put in has a sudden drawdown of a big amount. Very few people in their senior age can take that. So I just want to share that it's not easy. Okay, now maybe I want to address DCA, but I'll let both of you respond first.
Maybe Bunty, can you ask your question? I think you have some question.
Yeah, so I think Kelvin and Eric brought up a good point, the cash drag. I think this is the mistake that retail investor make quite often. So just to illustrate, right? Usually people who don't have a systematic allocation, what they did is that they have a pile of cash and then they get into the market. So they try to time the market, right? But when it comes to calculating the returns, right, they only calculate the returns of the capital deployed to the market. Say, for example, they wait for that 30% crash, they deploy, and then market recover. They calculate let's say like the amount they allocated. So they say, oh, I get 100% returns from here. But have you checked your 80% that's not yet deployed? That one is earning, let's say 1% or 2% in cash, right? So if you look at your portfolio as a total, right, then you realize that actually that cash drag, right, is actually very costly. So to bring out the points, right, also another criticism that I have on this crash buying is that it all depends on the parameter that you set. So in Mr. Lu, your definitions, you say that, okay, 10%, 20%, 30%, you
illustration, not definition.
You deploy already. Yeah, illustration. Okay. So you say you were happy to deploy already, but I have a friend, right? He say, I will deploy when market crash. For the same reason, he don't want to experience all these big drawdown. He said that after the market crash, I buy is safer, okay? But the threshold that he set for himself, right? Actually, I don't even know what's the threshold. But apparently, I think it's very, very high. Say, for example, it is way higher than 30%. It could be 40, 50, 60, 70, I don't know. Because even when COVID crash, even when all this Liberation Day crash, he said that market will go down another 30, 50%. Some big number. I can't recall the exact number, but you get the point, right? Is that he's waiting for that. But he forgot about the cash that's sitting around, that is like holding cash, don't know, since 2015 until now. That one, the drag, right, is actually huge, you know? Whereas someone else who just do a simple DCA deploy in the market, and then you just get an average return, it can be just 8%. It's also much better as compared to just waiting for that perfect moment, you know. So that's also one criticism that I have, right? It's like you play too much on the market timing, and it all depends on the threshold that you set, no? But of course, another extreme is that I can say that, okay, I do crash buying, but every 5%, then I all in already. Then that one to me is like no difference compared to DCA or lump sum already, right? So you see my point is like how you set your threshold is very important. And some people, they might end up in a very bad situation just because of that crash buying mentality. Very bad, really.
So first of all, that's great. So really now we are all debating between DCA and crash buying. Later I'll come to a wrap up, which I thought is very important. I think it's absolutely right to say that depending on the parameters, right? So now if you crash buy, waiting for a massive crash, for example, like 50%. I give you an example, 50%. Let's say it's 50% of the S&P 500 before you go in. Let's say you set yourself this threshold, but 50% crash only happens once in 50 years. So you're right. These kind of people will almost never have a chance to crash. So now if you then set a parameter like 10%, then you regularly like to buy, but 10% in Boon Tee's language is it's not worth the effort, okay? And you might sell just DCA, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And that is where I propose a falling, an increasing number. If you all were to recall, now the principle is as the market crash, you buy more. Okay, as a market crash, so you get to participate at a very early stage, but with smaller amount, and it gets bigger. You participate in bigger. Eventually, you will get it. So what I do in my practice is that, which I think Kelvin have a question on it, but I will highlight a little bit on it. Is I spread my bucket into 2 buckets, and I teach everybody how to do it before in my channel. I spread my bucket into 2 buckets. I call it method 1, method 2. Method 1 is exactly what I said. Maybe around, and these are ballpark. A 10% crash, I will spend around 10%, 15, 20, 30, you know, the kind of thing, and then use up. The second bucket, I tend to use it when it's around the bottom. When it's around the bottom, and identifying around the bottom is an art and a trick, and sometimes you missed it. But I was quite successful, maybe 70-80% of the time, in identifying around the bottom. I would never catch bottom. And it was in 2022 that Kelvin and I met in Paragon, where I told him that is the bottom already. I remember Kelvin had this skeptical look, that kind of thing. Okay, Kelvin, you still remember the eventful lunch? I told you, and I told him in the face, the market has bottom right now, and I explained to him why the market has bottom, whatever. He got this incredulous look. I feel, oh no, I've actually maybe overstepped my boundary or things like that. Okay, and it turned out to be right. That month when I told you, I slammed in $500,000, and the rest is history. So that's bucket 2. Now bucket 2 is more difficult, and bucket 2 I also used it when bucket 1 runs out and the market keep crashing. Okay. Now, actually, if you were to just step back, crash buying is just a combination of lump sum investing and dollar cost averaging down. Do you realize that? It's actually, because you accumulate, you take time to save a sum of money, so accumulate. And by the time accumulated, yes, you can wait for a while, or you can wait a few more months or so, and the market goes on a correction. You whack down, but you buy on the down. Just buy on the down, and then you use it up. And as you buy down, you can buy on the up as well. But at least you buy on market declines. And you finish the amount of money, you start your saving process again. Okay? And usually take maybe 1 to 2 years or so. So it is an abstract form of lump sum investing and a dollar cost averaging down. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. I just interject. I think when it comes to the execution phase, right, they are similar. That's when you really fire your bullets. I think that phase looks very similar, DCA, lump sum. But the difference, right, is that if you do crash buying, right, you have to wait. You have to wait that, 6 months, 1 year, could be 2 years, could be 3 years, right? The waiting part, that's the crash buying that you have to wait. But if you do DCA or you call it lump sum, whatever, you don't wait. You maximize your time in the market. I think that's the difference. But the execution, I agree with you, they are the same.
Okay, I think we have agreed that lump sum don't exist in real life. Okay, if you want to execute lump sum, you have to save money. In order to save money, you need time. Okay, time simply means you have to put it somewhere and save. So I think we all agree in that already. So we have a common agreement. So question is only the difference is, do you deploy in very, very small, deploy in small amount along the way in dollar cost averaging? And is that far superior? Sorry, is that more superior than crash buying? I've never said that. I never say I'm more superior in returns. Okay, I never say it's much more superior. It will depending on the time period and horizon whatsoever. But I'm very sure we are more superior in drawdowns. It has to be because I buy on the low. It's already already on the drawdown already. Yeah. So I think the fundamental difference is you are aiming for we differ on two approach, on the results and the approach. Okay. And what I'm suggesting is first forming a financial safety net and preparing periods, prolonged periods for dry powder to be accumulated. Okay. And when a crash comes, you fire methodologically, well, I don't know how to pronounce the word. Okay. In a very organized way all the way down. Okay. And then you finish firing, you wait for the next run. This approach will give you good returns, but at a less drawdown. And you generally will see profits usually faster than other approaches. Okay. In the long run, is it possible that you guys yield a high returns? Is arguable, but it is possible. But I think optimizing for lower drawdowns, I think is something I look forward to. Okay. And actually, at least in the period I gone in, 14, 15% is too good already for me. I'm very happy to have 10 to 12 already. Okay. Now, of course, Bunty is near Warren Buffett level at 17%. Okay. So in 1 or 2 decades time, you will have a few $100 million. The house behind will look even bigger. But for us, I think it is, it's having 10-12% is very, very good already. Very, very good. I don't think we need to take more better returns. Okay. Yeah. Over to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. I think the emotional stability is very important. Like to use this crash buying approach. If the market drops like 10 in a bull market, it very seldom pulls back about 15%. So when it does, right, sometimes it's because something is broken, like the previous time GFC, right, Great Financial Crisis, it actually dropped quite a lot. Even the main indices dropped a lot. So if we were to go in, if we were to go in like not having invested regularly, don't have the financial muscle to tolerate drawdowns, right? If you go in 10%, you go in 10%, 15%, you go in 15%, 20%, you go in 20%. That time, the market only just executed about half of its drawdown, and you're already in like 45% of your bucket. So that kind of another 20% down, your portfolio already like half of it gone already. Yeah. So even using this crash buying, right? If it's a really big drop, if you're really a newbie, you can get burned very, very easily. Also, that's the thing that needs to be cautious about.
Let me give you 2 comments on that. Number one is that crash of that nature happens 1 in 50 years. Okay, the first time it happened was in 1929, Great Depression. Second time was the Great Recession. It never happened again. Okay, find me another case where it dropped by more than 50%. It never happened again in history. So
just 50%, now my example was only about 40%, 30 to 40%.
Sure.
It's already deploying quite a lot.
So I'm just saying that you mentioned great financial crisis, so I just happened to address that. Second is that if you do a methodological drawdown, I think my amount will hold. Okay, let's say you do a sequential drawdown. Okay, you probably deploy the most at around 25-30% or so. And don't forget, I have a bucket 2 as well, right? You're supposed to go even lower than that. So you have the less you have the least investment when a market dip the least, and the most investment when a market crash the most. So you have done the most at right at the bottom. Okay, and I did not just say this in theory. I actually do this in practice. Okay, and I think it's important for now. Not everybody can execute this really well. But the alternative were to do a dollar cost averaging. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Then in the case that you mentioned, the drawdowns will equally be bloody as well. Okay. Most people, there's only two ways of doing DCA. You either do it manually or automatically. Okay. If you do it manually, most people will chicken out. I think you agree with me on that. Most people will chicken out in this kind of process. But if you do it on the automatic way, you have a higher chance of succeeding. A lot of people will interfere with the process in that kind of thing. So both require some kind of balls of steel in market crashes. But the difference is that in the strategy of crash buying, we pre-prepared for it years in advance for it to come, with financial safety net, dry powder on the side and things like that. Okay, getting it ready. Now, when you are ready for something to happen, and when it happened, you can say arguably some people cannot execute it. Okay, but if you are a person who just have never gone through the preparation and the market comes and to try to deploy, I think that's very difficult. Okay, so I think most of you are saying that if the market crash, you just anyhow deploy. That's sure die. Okay, but if you are prepared for it, you have armed yourself ready, and when the market comes down, that's a very different approach.
I like that we all circle back to the emotional management. So I think Eric raised a good point, talking about like all these things is about emotions, right? Actually, the one thing I wanted to ask Mr. Lu is that when it comes to the preparations, right, you focus on the cash powder as the preparations, right? But I think you didn't mention about like how someone can prepare emotionally to tolerate that volatility. I'm trying to standing from someone who is like, okay, I haven't really invested a huge pile of money. Suddenly you tell me, wow, crash happening 15-20%. Now I whack big amount inside. So I'm not used to having, let's say, like 100,000 of my portfolio in equities, right? Then suddenly now I see that swing every day, like a couple of percentage, meaning that I see that 10-20,000 move, right? So, but the person is not ready, like haven't seen this kind of volatility in the portfolio. So it's very hard, right? But So
of course, they should die. They should die. I completely agree with you. Should die.
Then how?
You got to be prepared for it. Yeah, you don't spend. Well, I already said you prepare for a powerful financial safety net, right? CPF must be papa, for example. Okay, and then you have to accumulate a lot of dry powder over the 1, 2, 3 years, waiting for a day like this to come. If you are holding on a hammer, and wait, your hand get tired. So it's a lot easier when you're holding a hammer for a very long time, and when finally the nail comes, you will be very incentivized to crash. But if you're not prepared for it, like exactly what you say, and the market comes, you ask the person back, you should be burned to death, 100%. If you have watched, well, obviously, or you never watched, but I talk about this in my live stream because you only saw one part and ignore the total part. The single biggest element of determinant of success to crash buying is preparation. You must be prepared. If you are not prepared, you'll sure be burned in hell. Okay? Because when the fire comes, you'll get burned. But if you are prepared, okay, financially, emotionally for it, and there are steps taken to do it, that's a very different story altogether. And I've done it many times. And best part is, you have got in 2022, because quite a few people followed my example. These are real case story of people because they prepare themselves for it. They fire. These are real life examples, not theoretical. I've actually never seen someone, I'll be frank with you, I've never seen, maybe you have or you are, I never seen someone that dollar cost the index faithfully, high and low whatsoever. I'm sure they are, but just I've never seen, okay? Faithfully follow the S&P 500, just dollar cost averaging up and down throughout the years in fortune changing amounts and do well. Even Bunty, you're not doing that. You're doing stock picking and dollar cost averaging of stocks, individual stocks. So, but your returns are near Warren Buffett level. I gotta give you credit for it. So everybody prepared. One day Bunty set up a hedge fund. We should all invest in him.
Yeah, I think when it comes to preparations, right? Okay, now I listen to your versions of preparation, which I think is good. Like all the CPF things, all the cash, I definitely bought into this idea. In fact, I think Eric and I, and together with Kelvin, I think we all hit our FRS. We all have that safety net. So I think we are comfortable to put our money into stock portfolio.
That's why you are such good investors, because your half your retirement is already counted already.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's definitely help. Have to give credit to you because you are the one that pushing people to maximize CPF. But when it comes to preparation, actually, I have somewhat different, because to me, right, you say, okay, let's say when the crash happened, right, people freak out, right? To me, right, people freak out looking at their portfolio, that volatility, right? And that volatility, I think for each of us, right, especially for those who are young, started investing, let's say 20, 30 years old, right, that number of volatility that you are comfortable, right, they are not, they need time to build up that stamina one. So for example, let's say when I just started with my portfolio, right, I have 100,000, right? My portfolio moved by 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I can feel the emotion already. But that stamina, right, take time to train, By the time I have my 200K, 300K, 400K, then I'm used to all this volatility. And to build that 2, 3, 4, 500,000 portfolio, right, I need to keep DCA, right? Because if I keep cash while waiting for crash, right, then I don't see that volatility. I don't get that training. To me, that training is also one form of preparations to withstand this kind of like volatility. And my personal, I think just now, Mr. Lu, you share a lot about your crash buying, right? Personally, for me, past 3 years, market returns is so good that portfolio return good. So that one is like give credit to the market, not about skill, right? But 2022, I remember that I also deploy, But how I'm comfortable to deploy in 2022 is because I have been deploying all this while. From 2017, almost every month, also deploy money. 2022 was quite a long drawdown from beginning of the year till end of the year. I didn't caught, I can say that I caught the bottom, but I also caught the peak, Every moment I caught, And I'm comfortable with that because that volatility to me is like, I tell myself, total drawdown 2022, that was 200,000. I actually have that in my video. I shared in my M65.
You didn't go for the index, if I'm not wrong.
My portfolio actually is not that different compared to the index. You look at the holdings, they are all large cap. It's not like I play all the small cap and then I in out. If you look at it, I bet if I pull my portfolio and then I pull S&P 500 and show it to you for you to guess which one is S&P, maybe you guess it wrongly, Mr. Lu. It's quite similar. Okay. So I think stock picking is not the topic of discussion. The discussion is more on like we need that training, and that training you don't get that training by staying in cash. But I think for Mr. Lu, you already have your portfolio. You have a big pile of equities. You have that. But what about someone who is like relatively new in the market, right? So he's like literally 100% cash, waiting for that to deploy. They don't have that training. So I think that's not good as for the persons to train up the emotion.
No, I think we're talking about two different group of investors. Okay, well, you are assuming that our entire audience are people who've got zero investment, all novice and young whatsoever. I don't have that big a group of young people. Uncle follow uncle, auntie also follow uncle. So I think that's quite a different group of investors we're talking about. I think the strategy on both sides, whether dollar cost averaging or crash buying, I think both works. Okay, I already said before that the crash buying optimized for a good return with less drawdown, and for your case, you use dollar cost averaging. I think I can't remember you or Kelvin or both of you prove that it gives higher returns. Okay. Executionally, which one is easier becomes you say, I say. Okay, it really becomes you say, I say. And in my opinion, I find dollar cost averaging also very difficult to execute because I got to buy regularly and there's a lot of decision point. And even there's an automated process, I will find it very difficult because back in my mind, I know that it's going to execute. Should I interfere or not? Things like that. And on the other hand, some people may find crash buying also difficult as well. Okay, because in your case, you might think that you need a lot of practice to execute it. In my case, there's a lot of preparation work involved whatsoever. I didn't find that difficult for the crash buying when someone has spent enough effort and time preparing for it. And when the 2022 crash comes, they really benefited a lot from it. Because why I keep saying 2022 is because that was the only time when I came public with my shorts. Okay, so please forgive me if I mentioned that. Before that, I never went public with my shorts. So, by the way, nowadays, we all cannot show our shorts. MBS will come after us. Okay, all four of us will now. Okay, at one point in time, Kelvin and I...
Can I comment? Sorry.
I just want to say, at one point in time, Kelvin and I were messaging each other, wondering whether you kena or kena. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Kelvin. Yes.
Yeah. So just now when Bunty mentioned about the preparation part, he was talking about the emotional preparation also, because when you are investing, right, you are going through the whole volatility. So I would say that like if you can't even invest when times are good, you are not prepared to invest when it drops 10%. Because I don't know if I'm not investing when times are good, right now when maybe not right now. Right now the S&P is going up and down, is going nowhere. Maybe last year the S&P is going up, if I did not invest, right, if the S&P dropped like by 10% today, my only preparation part is only like log in to 1M65 and see, hey Mr. Lu, have you shot? Can I shoot now? So that's my only preparation. Okay, other than the fact that my CPF is there, everything is there, but I'm emotionally not prepared, and I have to borrow my conviction from someone who's much smarter than me, like Mr. Lu, like I don't know, like Bunty, yeah, maybe even Eric. So and I would say that even if I follow you, the reason is in 2022 when Mr. Lu told me I'm skeptical. Actually, I'm not skeptical. I also done my research, and I feel that I feel that it's also near the bottom based on like historical stuff like that. But I wasn't emotionally prepared because like it's my first or second time there's a crash, and it was and I'm at the age where I can deploy also, much less someone who is in their 50s, 60s with their aunties, right? Seeing this 10% drop is much scarier because they don't have dry powder. If they're used up already, there's gone already. There's the retirement money gone, just like that. So when times are good, I would say that if you are not training yourself, like what Bunty say, training your stamina to withstand this volatility. When times are bad, the only thing that I can rely on is Mr. Lu's buy call already. So that's the first thing. And I would say that Mr. Lu is in a very good position to wait for this thing. Because I don't know, not everyone has 5 companies on the side. Not everyone has a few $1 million JB house. So they only have one HDB, one job, maybe don't even have a girlfriend. So like, and
girlfriend, I don't know whether deplete or is that investment or liability. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think for them, they can't, in a way, they are not privileged. They are not in a privilege to wait for this crash, because either way they have to go in or just miss this holding all together if there is no crash, right? So the risk is there. Yeah. So basically, I have 2 points lah. First thing is you have to be emotionally prepared. Secondly is not everyone is privileged to wait. And then there's also the third point. What the point? Okay, I forgot my third point. Yeah, there's these 2 points for now lah.
Thank you, Kelvin. I think that's a great comment. I'll just.
Sorry. I remember my third point. So when you mentioned about the crash buying, the DCA can interfere. That's true, but I can also interfere with the crash buying part. So if if there's an argument, then it sort of cancel each other out. But the interfering part, actually you can stop there by just like deleting your app. Then that's it. Then you can't interfere at all already. But versus crash buying is a manual process, right? So that's much easier to interfere versus crash buying, where you have to go and purposely cancel the thing that you have set it up lah.
Okay. Again, first of all, I think it's very we're well gravitating now to, okay, first of all, I think a glad thing is at least we throw lump sum investing away. So let's just junk that in the side. We're now having a debate between DCA and crash buying only. Okay. And now it becomes a discussion. I don't think we're fighting on which one gives the highest return anymore. Is it fair to say that, guys? I think we're not debating on that. I think most of us are now debating on whether which is executionally easier. Do you agree with me, Kelvin and Boon Tee? Yeah. So I think we have, I think it's great that we have this landing point. We're not debating which returns are higher. We're just debating on which executionally is easier. I think that's a great landing that we have. And I don't even think we need to debate on this because I'm sure some people will find DCA better, some people find crash buying easier, depending on personality, depending on life experience, depending on whatsoever. Okay, so I think there is a room for a group of people who love DCA because of profile, life, or whatsoever. There's a group of people who find the crash buying more comfortable. Okay, and it's no different from different people actually prefer stock picking. Different people like indexing and some like crypto, some like gold, whatsoever. I think we can agree that the world is big enough to accommodate both strategy.
Okay. I think we
actually this part I agree the most.
Yeah,
you can accommodate both. In fact, I think all of us does both also lah. Even though Bunty don't like to admit it, like all of us have war chest money on the side. We keep like 20-30% money on the sidelines to do crash buying. It's just that Mr. Lu is more public with his crash buying strategy, where he don't DC at all. It's 100% of his strategy lah.
Well, I cannot say it's 100% my strategy lah. I don't suppose. I mean, I was quite public about it, and I also talk about it. I do other forms of investments as well, right? I invest in businesses. I invest in angel investing and all this. All these are also investment, right? Maybe it's not stock investment from the public market, but these are in the private market that I do this. So cannot say that I don't do other form of investment. So my point is that each of us have to deploy things that we find most comfortable with. Yeah. So I think it's important for us to do this. I mean, for example, like Bunty, look at his house, man. Okay, it's
first, I need to clarify this is this is fake background because Mr. Lu mentioned like 6 times already. I need to clarify.
We all have a joke, yeah. So anyway, we have a joke on that, but I'm sure Bunty's house is as big as that. Okay, but at least that's his aspiration, right? So I've just a pair of curtains on my side. But my point is that all of us have different favor different things, different strategy. I don't find this suitable. Doesn't mean that some people will not find that suitable. But I'm glad that today we at least come to a closer landing. That number one, that's not worth talking about lump sum investing. Now become a debate between DCA, and it really is not a debate about returns, but it's a debate about emotional suitability for different type of investors. Okay, is that a good wrap up?
Nice wrap up.
Sorry, Kelvin, I miss you. Bunty was talking when
Eric is not convinced.
Okay, at least Kelvin and Bunty, are you in alignment with me on this?
Good discussion. Yeah, fully aligned.
Good discussion.
Thank you. Okay, Eric. Now it's 3 versus 1. Can you please go on?
Sorry. What was your concluding again?
No, I said that
easier.
Sorry.
Do you say it was executionally easier?
No, he's not paying attention. Should we penalize him with a 1 chicken rice meal or something like that? Okay. No, Eric. I wasn't saying that. Okay. First of all, we came to conclusion. Number one is that lump sum investing is not worth discussing. Okay. But really, the debate is really between dollar cost averaging and crash buying. and it wasn't a fight between the two strategies returns. Okay, but it's really a discussion on whether which is emotionally more executable. And we agree that for some people, they will find this more easier to execute. For some people, find this better to execute. Okay, and I think that's the key takeaway.
Yeah, I thought that was what I said. You said it was more executable, or you added in the word emotionally.
So Kelvin and Boon Tee, what did you say? I don't understand.
That was what I said just now. You were saying that crash buying is more executable, more
I said
emotionally executable.
for some people, yes, like for myself, okay, and for some people find the dollar cost averaging more suitable for them. Yes, that's what I said. That it depends on who. Yes,
because I literally type it down as you were saying it, so
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure
okay.
that's what you said.
Okay, yes, no, that's what I'm saying. For different people, they find suitable. Yes.
This point I don't really agree, because personally going through I'm a working adult by the time the GFC happened, so I was already investing. I think ironically it's around the same year that you did, 2000.
Sorry, there are some people ask, how are you?
Me,
They ask, not I ask. So you can choose not to answer. By the way, it's okay because I'm just responding to some of the Q&A.
I think that one maybe we talk about it another time.
Okay, so guys, not say I didn't ask for your sake. Okay,
you can come to back holder.
But I'm older than you, is it? Because I feel I look younger than you, but I think I'm older than you. So just joking,
Okay,
just joking.
so, yeah, my experience was that I have been preparing like for 1 year lah, because I just got to know about investing in 2007. Then when the thing really hit, right, I thought I would buy when it dropped big, like it dropped 50%. I will go in big, but really I can remember at the time, right, my finger froze, and I couldn't even tap the button, the buy button. I was so scared. I'm looking at company going bankrupt left, right, and center. I really couldn't do it. Like I had no emotional muscle to do it. Yeah, so that experience actually stuck with me for a very long time, and I was like, I couldn't invest for like quite a long time, about 7-8 years. I was so terrified, like, oh, I see my portfolio decimated. Yeah, so I think that time when I first got to know Bunty, it was when I was gradually coming back to investing. Yeah, that was when I was like recovering. So crash buying really, it takes a really balls of steel. Yeah, I feel.
First of all, thanks Bunty for helping him to get back to investment. You did a great job. I think this might be the first time you hear it. Okay, because his eyes was open big.
First time.
Okay, but I think the right way to say is crash buying is not for you. You know, crash buying is not for you, and it doesn't mean that crash buying is not suitable for everybody. Okay, I find dollar cost averaging really unsuitable for myself, and it's something that I cannot bring myself to do because there's a lot of buying, and I just don't like the idea that I'm buying things on the high, for example. So I think Kelvin and Boon Tee already agreed with me that there are some people that will find this suitable and find people find this suitable. Okay, and I think that's a very good wrap up. So whoever finds it suitable for you, good for you, right? So I think it's something that I don't need to convince the people who believes in dollar cost averaging to swing to my camp. Okay, I got no incentive to do that. But I think that if you find dollar cost averaging suitable for you, go deploy it. And you find crash buying suitable, go deploy it. The key thing is we must invest. Okay, we must invest for the long run. Yeah, what we do want to do is not to invest at all. Yeah, then that I think will cause inflation to eat up our funds and things like that. Okay, that I totally agree with you guys. Any wrapping up comments by everybody?
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good conclusion.
Yeah, good discussion.
Okay, very good. Shall we just have a round up comment, just one or two liner from everybody before we wrap up? Starting maybe with Kelvin, then Boon Tee, then Eric.
Yeah, I think that there's no single best strategy lah. I think Mr. Lu say it the best. If you think DCA works best for you, just do it. Like even like Warren Buffett does crash buying, right? He doesn't DCA for him, so crash buying works for him. Crash buying works for Mr. Lu. So if crash buying works for you, then go ahead. Otherwise, just do DCA lah. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Boon Tee.
Yeah, first I would have to say thank you for inviting us to your channel and then having this kind of talk. I think I really enjoyed the discussion. First time on your channel because we appeared on Backholder Pod before, right? So this is the first time. Actually, you know, just now we all try to bring out like the best points we can just to have this debate, right? Partly also because we try to make the content more entertaining for the audience. And although it seems like there's a lot of disagreement, but actually if you look into the details, right, even the way I invest versus the way Mr. Lu invests, right, actually quite similar. Like for example, when you look at the holistic picture, right, when it comes to the CPF, we all align 100%. When it comes to, let's say Mr. Lu, right, 30% drop, he whack already, he don't sell already. He keep holding on to that positions. To that one, to me, is like 100%. We all align. Like whether our entries is different, but once we invested, right, we don't sell, we don't get in and out, right? So that kind of things is like, I think it's very bad, especially for those who are doing trading but don't have good trading skills. So I try to advise people not to do that. So I think we are both aligned on that also. So there's a lot of things that's like we think in common. So don't think that we are all, having all this heated discussion. It is just for show, and I hope you all enjoyed today's discussion. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boon Tee. Thank you, Boon Tee. Eric?
Yeah, I think for myself, I'm more towards allocation, like cash allocation, how to allocate my assets. I'm more towards that lah. Not so much on stock picking, but I would say that mixing around with people like Boon Tee, Kelvin, Chiking, all this really sharpens me a lot, because sometimes I have this mentality. It's like it seems to be low, let's just buy it. But they will question and iron sharpen iron. So basically I know why am I buying, why am I not taking action. Yeah, so I think the friends that you have around you really makes a big difference to your investing journey.
Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody for spending the time coming to this channel to have this discussion. It's a gentleman's debate, and I really enjoy this debate. There is a lot of learning I made as well from everybody, and I'm glad that we came to a very common landing. And I really hope that all our audience benefited from this, and you decide for yourself which one is which one is better for you. And Eric have the best quotation of tonight, which is iron sharpen iron. So I hope that we all iron sharpen iron, and more importantly, the audience benefit from our discussion as well, and they decide for what is better for themselves. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, for those people who are from my 1865 channel, remember to join the Potholder. So Backholder Pod, sorry, Backholder Pod YouTube channel, which are all from. And Kelvin and Boon Tee have their own YouTube channel. Kelvin's from Kelvin Learn Investing. Boon Tee is from Boon Tee. And for the rest of people, if you are from other people's channel to my channel, please remember hit like and subscribe. Okay, and I hope that next time we can have other discussion. Right, we can have more of this kind of thing. I really enjoy this kind of a gentleman debate. Okay. So I really appreciate this. Okay, everybody, please give them a round of applause and thank them. Okay, please thank them for giving this great discussion. Okay,
thanks for having us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll sign off right now. It's getting late already. Okay, it's 1.5 hours. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, bye bye. Okay,
Bye.
you guys stay on. Okay, just end the line.